Hello, and welcome back to Ascension TV Online. I'm Caroline Mary, and I am your host. And today I am going to be talking about coming to peace. Now, in the world that we're in right now, peace does not seem like it's very present. But of course, on this journey, a lot of what happens in the external world is a mirror of what is happening in our own inner worlds. So it doesn't mean that we individually are creating the war in Palestine and all of this other stuff, but collectively, because if we're not fully at peace, then that filters out. And also, we can then see the people that are making the wars as the villain rather than owning our own inner stuff and inner turmoil. So if you've got like one little thing that you're not at peace at, that will really affect you, your field, what you can enjoy in your life and what you're putting out into the world. And I have seen this with myself and my clients time and time and time again, where there's a problem in the outer world, and I've often call this shit gifts or a blessing and a lesson. And what it's really doing is when this is an uncomfortable situation in the outside world, it's really calling us to come within and be at peace within, make peace within, see what's happening within. And then when we're at peace, that filters out rather than expecting the world to be at peace so we can be at peace. Of course, I'm aware that we've all got a nervous system, and I know that I absolutely love being in nature and it helps my nervous system have a reset. But if I've got something that isn't all good, like I'm not at peace with something internally, that will just keep creating chaos in my field, and everything external to me will be it's like that you've got a splinter and you keep catching it, right? And the splinter's gone and you can brush your skin, no problem, right? If you've got a splinter, you're going to just keep being really irritated. And I have seen this again and again and again. And that is why a lot of the work that I do is around helping people to come to peace. Now, I have certain protocols and certain healing things that I use with people. And for the benefit of you as my audience slash potential clients, I can tell you what they are. I use something called Peace Process, which is very similar to Vipassana, and I use high vibrational energy healing, and I ask people to come in their bodies and be present with what's arising. So essentially, it's like inviting you to meditate, and in that meditation, you're being the silent witness, the loving observer, the compassionate observer. But there is a whole body of work that I have created in terms of small individual chunks that you can work through yourself on your own. And these are all under the heading of coming to peace. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is that process, how that came into being, what that means for you, and how you can use the PDFs that are on my website. And very soon I'll be doing more free and paid seminars, and then there'll be online courses to follow as well. I haven't got to that point yet because I've still got other jobs that I'm doing, but I just wanted to hop on today and talk to you about that process and why. And the reason why I've come to be doing this work is on a personal level, because I have not been at peace. I have had that angst and gripes with other people. I've seen myself hold on to grudges and just not being able to shake a feeling of something's wrong. And yesterday I was in a mastermind with my fellow healers, and the thing that came up to the surface was the feeling of there's something wrong with me. So if that's the case with you, and you feel like there's just something wrong with you and you don't know what it is, and you just feel a bit like the coming to peace with yourself would be a really good place to start for you. But for me, what I realized is that I used to think, oh, it's this person, it's that music, it's this type of something, it's this environment. But obviously, bit by bit, as you go on your journey, you realize, no, it's not that, it's me. And I'm then having a filter. It's a yucky filter. I haven't got rose tinted glasses, I've got dirty glasses. And that's the way I'm seeing the world. And that's why I'm reacting in that way. So I have had to do a lot of work to come to peace myself, and that was massive for me yesterday, to be surrounded in a group of people and acknowledge what was happening for me internally. And they held me, and I could feel the whole of the team around me lifting me up, and it was so incredible. So, it could be that healing that is something that you need to do. And if so, go ahead and look on the website, Coming to Peace with Yourself, and get the download and you know the PDF, and you can work through the steps. So there's lots of journal prompts basically, and you can just explore the feelings and what's arising. But for me, because I wasn't at peace in myself, I also had issues with my mum and my dad and my brother and the world and God, and you know, my diet's been all over the place at times. My exercise routine's been, you know, at times. And for me, when I've worked with clients, I could see that we all have themes in our life. And, you know, you only need one theme to have a challenge, and it will keep snagging like the splinter, and you'll not feel at peace. So, for example, if you have an issue with eating and that you just don't feel at peace with that, it's going to play on your mind until you just say, okay, this is the time I'm going to address it. And that's why I've done the Coming to Peace with Your Diet. So I've tried to address a lot of the main themes. Now, again, for me, what spurred me into a lot of this work is because when I got sectioned, I had a massive awakening. So in me, I was actually enjoying myself. I was really happy. I was having all these downloads. And then I had to start making peace with the outside world and all the people that had told me you're crazy, you're this, you're blah, 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 because I was in an altered state. And to me, that's my right to be in an altered state. People pay thousands of pounds to go to bloody jungle in Brazil and take ayahuasca to be in an altered state to get these wisdoms. I was just having it in my home, but because the people around me didn't really understand it's not normal for Westerners to be in an altered state. They locked me up, fine. But it's been a big part of my journey, my story, if you will, to have to heal and release all of the angst and the issues around that, and then claim back my sovereignty to like, no, I'm allowed to talk about this stuff. This is what I believe in. This is part of my being. Da da da. It's why I'm here. Da da da. And as a result, I also really wanted to help people that I also had seen that are also in conflict with themselves. Because when I was in hospital, many of the people in there, they had labels, but to me, it's the same thing. They just didn't understand something in their life, in their surroundings. And once you start talking to somebody and you dig a bit deeper, you start unfurling it, and there's no more problem for them. So what I'm just going to move my light because it's causing a reflection. So this is why I started thinking, you know, what is it I'm here to do? And I used to make prayers. I've been on vision quests, and that once you start wanting to be of service and you're really committed, you know, I shaved my dreadlocks off in 2014. I'm really committed. Then you start getting guided divinely. You get intuitively guided to things that you need for your healing, and then also what it is you can do for the world. And that is how the Coming to Peace series has come to pass. Also, my live stream in this life is under the eighth ray with Kuan Yin and Joakul, and it's a ray of harmony and a ray of the flame of compassion. So it's really about bringing in as many ways as possible to bring in compassion to the shadow, to the subconscious, to the ego, the inner child, and so that we can just be kind to ourselves as this stuff is arising, because it does suck. I get it, and I have seen the worst bits of my shadow, but when you look at yourself and others with compassion, everything starts shifting, everything starts coming back to peace, and that is just a really beautiful place to be. So there's two elements really in the Coming to Peace series that I would love to share with you. And you can take this away. You don't have to even do the downloading and journaling. You can just take it on as concepts, and hopefully you'll start to see peace with this. So the one is, if you've got a challenge, if you can recognize the theme that you're working on, that is going to really help you then really take it and be like, okay, I'm going to do some inquiry about this. I'm going to make my prayers and move on to the Coming to Peace process, which is something that's come to me, and it will deepen as time goes on for me and yourselves if you're using it. But first and foremost, if you can see the theme that you're working with, and if you can see the symbol of the infinity, yeah, like I'm doing with my hands, and I'm going to see if I can overlay one up here, right, just to show you, because the symbol of Coming to Peace, the kind of logo, if you like, was not by random chance, okay? I asked for a sign and a symbol, and this is what I got. I got a cross and a circle, or two circles actually, they're interlocking, which is kind of our energy field, if you like, and then the infinity symbol. And the reason for that is every single theme in our life has a good, the bad, the ugly, and peace in it. So, for example, if you've got an issue with one of your parents, you've got the theme of being a daughter. Right? Let's just use that as an example. I'll use my dad as an example for that. And on one extreme, I've had a part of me that has been absolutely in adoration for him as as a child. He was like my hero, and I found it really fractious with my mum. So he was like the light, it's like good cop, bad cop, right? And that's often the case because one parent might be the one that gives the discipline, and dad was always there for the good times. He'd take us on holiday, we go sailing and walking and do scout things, and it was always the fun stuff with dad, right? But on the flip side of it, he also had, he's just a human. And there were parts of me that were like unsure of him, unaware. How do I talk to him? And then as an adult, I really felt really threatened by him because he didn't really understand me. I didn't really understand that he didn't really understand me. And it's created like conflict. So you can see if you think of the figure of eight or the infinity, right? Over here is this like worship. Oh my God, this person is like the best person out. And then the other side of it is like, oh my God, I'm really wary of you and I don't really understand you. And now I'm a little bit afraid of you and I don't really know. I just want to avoid you, right? So there's like a pushing, grabbing, and then a push, push, push. And then everything in between, right? And right now, what we're aiming for is coming to peace with any theme in our life is sacred neutrality. And that is when you are completely at peace with that person. You can understand their warts and all. You can love them as a divine being, as a soulmate that you decided to incarnate with. You can understand that, okay, they were going to bring you challenges and that meant you grow. And what came through in a meditation with actually Catherine. So if you watch the last episode, I had a beautiful session with Catherine on Monday for as part of the work that she does. And in that meditation, I really had this clear download of everything that I have thought I was missing from my parents, which was basically love, compassion, understanding, and spiritual wisdom, is actually what most people are missing in this time, right? And it's a thing that I'm here to give. So if they just gave it to me, I would just have it and be like, cool, yeah, wicked. I wouldn't know what it was like to be feeling starved of that. And don't get me wrong, my parents aren't bad people at all. They're like, they're just average people, right? Very, very, worldly wise in their own way. But the challenges that they individually had and didn't resolve then gets passed to us, which is a cycle of trauma that most people are aware of these days. And I received the wisdom years ago that I came in to help heal my parents, and that doesn't help. Like that can be hard. It can feel really challenging. It can be like, yeah, but I'm the child here. You shouldn't be doing this. But ultimately, many of us are light workers. We came in for the very struggle, challenge, and experience of being right in the mud, like the lotus, which is why my business is Open Lotus Living, and actually come through those challenges and come into peace with ourselves, with our parents, with the world around us, yada, yada, yada. And I know for sure, like, I am pretty sure that my parents have just given me my karma. Like, I have seen lives where I'm dying. I saw myself as like a king, and I was like dying in the doorway of my castle. And I can pretty much guarantee I was a shitty parent, right? And if you think of the history, like the gruesome, grisly past of I'm just thinking of Britain here, right? Because I'm based in Wales right now. Like we were shits. People have been shits to each other. So like, guess what? Like we're not all perfect. So sometimes our parents are actually just bringing back our karma that we wanted to experience and take on and transmute. So there's this part of the principles, and I think in most of the PDFs I put the principles. So I really work on the principle that we're all souls, that we chose this incarnation, we had pre-love choices to a lot of the challenges. So it wasn't that, oh God, poor me. Yes, those parts of us that are stuck have that, oh my God, this is awful. And that isn't to say it isn't awful, but if you have what I in the Munaki teachings that I work with, we look at eagle view, which is this overview. And from that position, you can see like, oh, right, I chose my dad, I chose my mom, I chose this situation because of the challenge and the growth that it would give me, and just the pure experience as a soul, right? And then you come down through the archetypes, okay? And we have in the animal archetypes, we we have the hummingbird, which brings the sweetness, and then we have Mother Jaguar, which is bringing through the strength and really being in our body, and then the snake, which is really teaching us to shed the skins and actually be with what's happening. And so then we start going, okay, so I can see the overview, which I often had as a kid. I was like, okay, my parents are just souls, right? They're not like God is my true parent. Like they're just other beings. They're not better or worse than me. They're just, and I could see that. But what I didn't do is do the bit at the bottom going, what am I actually feeling about this? And my reaction is whatever it is, it might be sadness, fear, terror, trauma, frustration, sadness, feeling of betrayals, whatever it is. So a lot of the work, sorry, something must be clearing through because my nose is really itchy. A lot of the work we're doing is we need that overview, because then we stop blaming and stop actively like hating on somebody for something they've done. And then you come back to say, okay, I can see that wasn't a great, experience, but what did I learn? What is happening? And this is why the all the different coming to peace PDFs that I've created are inviting questions for you to consider about your own feelings, your beliefs, and what that meant for you, so you can move on, okay, ultimately, and just heal and then come back to peace. So on my infinity sign, if you like, say with my dad, I've had times that I don't want to see him, times where I've missed him, times when I've been absolutely devastated. He left home, he left when I was 16, and he's still married to Maggie, which is great, his partner, and that's beautiful, and they're really happy, and oftentimes it's like, okay, you're just away, and I've had to do a lot of work to integrate soul parts that have just missed him and them, because they're busy, they've got other kids and they've got life of their own, they've got friends, and so do I, right? And so the journey of coming back to peace is like, oh, I can just feel all the aspects of the one that needed him, because I certainly felt like he was the protector from, he was the good cop and my mum was a bad cop. And yet as an adult, I spend much more time with my mum, because guess what? She talks like a girl, and I can't talk emotional stuff with my dad. It just doesn't work. So, when you start exploring the theme, what is it to be a daughter? Like, if my dad needed me, I'd be there, but he doesn't need me right now. He's in his resting period, right? He did 20, 30 years of parenthood in his way. Okay, he's retired. He's having fun now. Like, I don't really need him. He doesn't really need me. In a sense, the soul contract is over, but that doesn't mean that I don't have little parts going, oh yeah, but da 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 or da da da. And what we can do is just check in with ourselves. Am I in the needing? Am I in the pushing away? Or am I in full peace? And then we're not avoiding somebody, we're not needing them, we're not blaming them, we're just fully accepting everything has happened. Now, if you look at an experience or one of these themes through the lens of trauma, some people choose to have no contact with a parent. And obviously, if that parent is like constantly attacking them, then you want to distance yourself. But for me, when I think of trauma and the leftovers from trauma, it's really about feeling the feelings and the emotions that didn't get processed. And if we have space and time to do that, we naturally will come back. If we think of an experience as having like a beginning, a middle, and an end, and if we have this really quite potent experience and we're stuck in that was horrible, but I'm not allowed to feel it, which I've done a lot. I shouldn't have bad feelings. I shouldn't feel sad, angry, upset. I should just be perfect. I've got to be, because I love Jesus, right? So I just wanted to be loving and kind to everyone. But ultimately, I wasn't acknowledging how much hurt I was carrying myself. So, of course, I was not at peace. And it's easy to then say, oh, this person, this person, this person. But you have to come back. We have to come back and say, hang on, what am I feeling? What is my part in this? What am I learning? What actually happened? And what am I feeling about it? And just be present, which is why a lot of the work I do with clients is just being present with what's arising in the body. And you can, this is a mindfulness practice, you can call it. It's also really the basis of Vipassana meditation, where you're not trying to change anything. You're just acknowledging, accepting as it moves through, acknowledging, accepting as it moves through. On a physical level, we'll say, if we don't process something, it doesn't go into the proper element. It doesn't go into the proper file. So our body, when there's our brain, when there's space, it will be cogitating and then it's filed away and then we're made peace with it. And it's why a lot of people have PTSD symptoms, because we just haven't given ourselves enough time. We've gone here and then there's this other arc that needs to happen as a result of that and that scenario. And if we're stuck here, we're just going to have this splinter in us going and we just got to give ourselves time. Okay, so if you don't want to do downloading and you're not into journaling, I get it, it's fine. You can have a one-to-one, you can have some one-to-one sessions to me, or you can join my Ascension Alchemy sessions on a Tuesday evening, and we do a lot of feeling, a lot of being with, and a lot of just being with the process of what needs to happen in our body to come back to peace and harmony. But you can also use tapping. So how this would look if you were to use EFT, emotional freedom technique, it would be you start in your karate chop point and you're acknowledging what the stressor is. So like, even though I'm not at peace with my parent, I love and accept myself. And even though it feels like a really big challenge to be at peace with my parent, I love and accept myself. And then you'd go through the routine. Okay, even though I'm not at peace with my parent, I love and accept myself. It's really stressful right now because I don't know how to be at peace. And I love myself, even though I'm not at peace with my parent. I felt ignored by them, betrayed, hurt, and disowned. I love and accept myself. I felt really hurt by my parent. It really upset me because I felt discarded by them. And I haven't been able to process it because I've been too busy. And now it feels like I have to process it. Okay, so that's just one, what people call one round of EFT. I'm not going to go into it because it's not the main modality that I use, but I am aware that it's a very useful tool if you haven't got your pen and paper. So you're sat on a train and something comes up, using EFT, you can sit and you can just even literally like tap on your knee or tap your finger. Sometimes I do that. And you can just be calming your nervous system down and just processing whatever it is that's moving through your system. Because basically our life these days are busy. We're constantly processing so much information, social media and inputs and books that we should read, programs that people are talking about, blah, 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 blah. And it's a lot. And then when you do have peace and quiet, if you're in your car, if you're waiting in a queue or you're in the bath, all that stuff's going to start processing through your system. It doesn't mean you're failing, but it can be very overwhelming if you're not realizing that it's already there and why is it happening now. So having these tools is why a lot of us practitioners are multiple disciplined healers, because there's many ways to skin a cat, as they say. All right, so I really recommend, if you're into EFT and you want to start doing this process, you want to start healing yourself, go look up at EFT. You can go to the tappinsolution.com. It's amazing. It's an amazing modality. It's not my main point that I use, so I'm not going to talk about it more now, but I do recommend it. Okay, so moving on, that's a little bit about why I have created this and the things that I would like you to consider. Okay, so find the theme, look at it in terms of where am I on the infinity, am I pushing, pulling, and just realize that when you've been through all of it and you've learned a lot, you'll just be fully at peace. You just have looked at every iteration possible, even maybe, and then you're just free. You're not afraid of this theme. You're not afraid of what's happening. You're not afraid of the dynamic with this person. You've just looked at it all and you're like, oh my God, you can journal on this theme and then you will come to sacred neutrality. So now moving on, I just want to talk now about the coming to peace technique, which I have used. So if you take the word peace, we've got prayer, which is the first step, explore, accept, compassion, and ease. All right. So the first step, which is the active step, is say it's the Father. Okay. Because I haven't seen him for a while. So it is relevant for me. I've been very busy basically, but there's definitely some charge going on there that's not fully resolved. So we make a prayer. Okay. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father God. Thank you, higher self, created guides and angels, for assisting me in understanding, exploring, and coming to peace with my father, with my car, with my job, with my boss, with my sibling, with my partner, with my children, whatever it is. Okay. Thank you for showing me peace. Thank you for bringing healing for me and all involved. Thank you for giving me opportunity to understand what I wanted to learn about this dynamic and what do I need to know? What do I need to know now for the highest outcome for all involved? Okay. And our highest outcome, I think, is peace. Okay. Sometimes I know I've had times when I'm like, I really want this to happen. I really want this to happen. And I sit back and I go, no, I don't. I don't need any particular outcome. I just don't want to feel the way I was feeling. So you think if I have this outcome, then I'm going to feel better. And that's not actually usually the case. What is feeling better is feeling the emotions that you are carrying. Okay. And this is how, once we've made our prayer, moving on to exploration. Okay. So you're going to explore your feelings, your beliefs, or your emotions, if you want to say that, your emotions, your beliefs, and your conflicts. Now, the reason why I switched from feelings to emotions is, have you got any idea? Right? It's because emotions are usually the heavy ones, feelings are the present ones. So, for example, I am really happy it's sunny outside. It looks amazing, and I'm going to go for a walk in a few hours and get my sunlight in for the day. All right, and I do that every day. Because I'm blessed to work myself. And but my emotion, there is what is there? There's actually a sadness if I check in, okay, about my dad, because I feel like we've both lost time due to our own traumas. That's what my sense is. And a bit of stubbornness. Okay. He is very, this is my way, and I'm very, this is my way. And there's a mirror. So another principle is mirrors. Check your mirrors. If you are seeing somebody, and I'm using my dad, sorry, dad. If I was to say he does this and he does this, da, 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 it's like, yeah, do I do that? Yeah, actually, I do. So when we start softening that which we would vilify another one, you know the saying, right? Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, right? So a lot of the work in coming to peace is actually just owning our own shit, looking at our own ego, ourself, looking at the people around us as a mirror. And if we are in denial of something, then it will be really loud in them. So he is very, let's say, he chooses what he wants in his life. And actually, so do I. So good on him, good on me. Now, we might say that looks really selfish, but it only looks selfish if you're not doing what you want to do. If you're doing what you want to do, you're like, oh, good on you, mate, you're free. And if I'm in that part of me, I'm like, he's a really free spirit. He goes on holidays, he goes traveling, he goes walking, he goes cycling, he makes things, he's always making something. He's a really creative guy. Amazing. Can I come back to my piece? Yeah, me too, right? But it's the child element that's like, oh, I really miss my daddy. Okay, but that's not his fault that I'm feeling that. I can tell him that. I can pick up the phone. But as the child element is within us, often the child aspects feel helpless because as a child, we didn't have a phone unless you're in this day and age, right? You didn't have money, you didn't have volition, you didn't get to choose the timetable. So when these child aspects come through our system, it often makes us feel, oh, it's like a flashback, right? And we can really feel like, oh my God. So even by talking to you about this example, I'm like, oh yeah, like I am not taking up my full power within the dynamic to say, well, what do I want in the dynamic, right? And am I afraid of something? So this is the explore one is really the biggest aspect, right, of this. And it's really is what I do with coaching, right? I ask people, what are you feeling about this? What do you believe about this? What are your conflicts? So what I would say is my feeling, there was a sadness, and that's why I was saying about the difference between the lighter feelings, which are present, and the emotions, which have been sat in our field for a while, and they feel heavier. And they're usually the ones we don't want, but actually through is the way. Okay. By pretending they're not there, we just end up in our head, da, 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 this is how I should feel, should be, should act, rather than this is how I'm actually feeling. And that's okay, being the observer. And that is what shifts the energy of it. Okay. No amount of judging it will make a feeling go away. It will just embed it stronger. And then you start splitting and feeling anxious because you're basically telling yourself, I'm not allowed this feeling. And this feeling is already happening. It's like saying, I don't want the sun to shine today. Well, it already is. Get over it. Right. So when that is with the explore, we're exploring our emotions, okay? Acknowledging them using EFT or journaling them just to acknowledge them, acknowledge them, acknowledge them. You can use body scanning as well. It's a beautiful way to just notice what's happening throughout your body. And then exploring what are your beliefs. So I could say, I have the belief that my dad doesn't want to see me. And as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was still carrying that. Yeah, that's a big one because when he left, and actually this is not even, I want to say it's what from when he left. It isn't. It's because as a kid, he was always busy. He worked late. He had friends, he ran scout groups. he worked, and it was always like something else has got his attention. Now, is that his fault? No. Was it a conscious choice by his part? I don't think so. Intuitively, I would say it's probably because of his own trauma and not feeling able to be present with in intimate relationships. And I get that. Also, he serves people. Like he spent years putting energy into scouts and the jobs that he's done, and he was really committed to that. So in sense, it's like, oh, okay. And the same with my mum, busy with as a school teacher. She was so committed. I have been in shops when children come up to her and go, oh my God, thanks, hi, hi. I didn't see that. All I saw was, it's not fair. My mum doesn't like me. She's horrible to me and she loves everyone else. She doesn't, she's, you don't see them from the adult position. You see it as the child and your unmet needs, right? And this was, if you watch Catherine and I's chat, talking about unmet needs. So my child brain has taken on the belief I wasn't chosen by my parents. They didn't love me, they didn't understand me. And this is their big part of the whole being section. And of course, they didn't understand me. Like, I didn't. Did I know? I intuitively understood it. I did. That's why I've written the book and I've been like, I want to talk to people about this stuff. I did understand it. But I didn't have the words because it was not something that I'd been around. Yeah, I'd never heard of Kundalini awakening, even though I'd done yoga for years. I just hadn't come across that language because I read a book for yoga and I just did it myself. I didn't go online. I didn't have teachers. Yeah. So I had inner knowings, but not the word and the language to help chat, connect with the people around me. So if you have that feeling, and this is why the exploration is really important, because once you have an understanding, you're like, oh, you have that aha moment. It's no longer sat in your field in your subconscious. You're just aware and you can go, oh, and you can start feeling the relief in your body because you're not holding that. And the conflict would be something like, I want to see my dad, but I'm scared, or I'm embarrassed because I went through a phase actually, and I would see my dad and I was just burst into tears. And it wasn't about him, it was about other stuff that was going on. And again, I didn't have tools to process and just sit with emotions. I just ignored my emotions like most people. And then when they came up, it's like, oh God, no, I'm really embarrassed and this isn't cool. And like, he doesn't want me crying on him. He doesn't really get it. Whereas now I am a lot put more to the point of like, it's okay to cry. Like, I don't have to mind what you think about it. But that can be that kind of conflict means that you stay in a stasis because you don't take an action around this theme. So same as your diet. Let's use something a bit less contentious because I'm aware that I'm almost sharing my inner world with you and you might not want to hear all of that. But let's just use the diet. You might pray to have a healthier diet. When you start exploring it, you might find out, and this definitely is something that I've realized, is that this comfort eating came from a thing. Like if you rooted back, when did you start comfort eating? Because you didn't feel comfortable, so you ate to cover your nerves because you didn't like the feeling of feeling nervous around your wider family, for example, or it was a comfort that you gave yourself and it just stuck, and that part of you needs the comfort. So when you start exploring it, you're thinking, oh, what are the feelings? So you might be embarrassed that you still have like a poor diet. You might feel embarrassed and ashamed that you never learned to cook for yourself. Like I was lucky, I worked in a cafe. My parents always cooked from scratch. So I learned a lot. I've worked in different catering establishments, so I can cook a lot of things. But it's not everyone that grew up with that. And that's okay. You can go do an online cookery course or go, get some experience somewhere. But like if you feel ashamed of it, you're not likely to take that step. So coming in and asking for the help from spirit, and they will help you and bring in help for you in the way that's right for you. Then you start exploring it. Think about your feelings around food. Were you shamed at dinner time so it doesn't feel comfortable to sit and eat a proper meal, so you don't enjoy your eating proper meals, so you're always picking around? Okay, and I didn't realize that was a thing, but I'm guessing that's something that's been in my field because I have heard my parents talking about other children, they should just eat what they're given. So at some point, they probably made us just sit there and eat it. And then we just did. So we didn't even think about it. Like I literally finish my plate. Even if I'm full, I will finish the plate. It doesn't matter how much food is on it. And that is, I would say a script that happens in a lot of households. Parents want you to eat and fit, they want to be good parents, but actually it doesn't give you the opportunity to check in. Am I full? Do I really want it to eat this? Do I need this vegetable? All right. So, intuitive eating is a massive thing. And I will have Lainey Sfonte Walk on the show at some point, because it's really important that we live in our own alignment to check in. Do I actually need to even eat today? Most of us are chronically overeating and eating crappy food, and that's not sustaining us, right? And actually, we might need a fast to clear our system. We might need a water diet. We might need to have smoothies for a few days just to give our system a rest. Yeah. But if you're living with scripts of I must, and this is where the belief exploration is, I should eat, da, 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 and you're holding yourself in stasis because you've got beliefs, you really will have a struggle to come back to peace. Okay. And the next one is the conflict. So I have a conflict around food, actually, and I would like to eat less. And I know a big part of my journey is I don't believe I'm allowed. And I think I want to, when I'm in my stuff, I'm like, oh, my mom did this, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, no, because I know I've been a nun and a monk a lot of times. Okay. And every life that we've ever had, or we are concurrently living in some beliefs, whether you want to see time as linear or otherwise, we won't talk about that so much today, but, every lifetime we've ever experienced will have a different set of eating rules and norms. All right. So if you were in a tribe, you would have had maybe one meal a day, and it would have been like mostly meat because, if you're Inuit. So I just watched North by North, and it was a really fun to see. My boyfriend's like, what are you watching that crap for? But it was lovely to just see that inside. Yeah, it's not realistic, really, but and then I started researching Inuit culture, and like majority, they literally only eat whale or seal or whatever, the animal is that they've hunted. And they really believe that eating the seal is part of their spiritual being. And they just don't eat other stuff. And they're becoming really ill as a culture if they eat Western diet, because actually most of it's not food, but it's so much connected with their culture. And if, because I very much believe that most of us have lived many, many, many lives, and not just on this planet. They will all have different like beliefs. So you'll have the, vegetarian yogi and the meat eating cultures. And if you've been in that, you're going to feel a clash. And I know I watch my partner eating meat. I pretend to not eat meat. Once in a while, I'm like, oh God, part of me just wants to wolf down meat. But I know energetically, it just doesn't feel that great anymore for me. So, just exploring that, bringing it to the surface, you see what's been your subconscious drivers, and that's what is happening a lot. If we're not steering our boat consciously, we're being steered by the subconscious, and that you can say is ancestral. Let's face it, we're egg and sperm, so those energies from our parents have been there from the beginning. So everything they've experienced, all the beliefs they've carrying, all their ancestors, what they're carrying, it's in our DNA. So we are, as souls, right? We are filtering our reality through all of that, and bringing it to light helps to loosen the grip. It comes out of our subconscious, and then you can make conscious decisions. And then the next step, so we've done P, prayer, E, explore, A is asking yourself, are you able to accept? Now, acceptance, A and C, acceptance and compassion. Okay. If we try to just pretend something there, and I've had this, say with diet, I shouldn't eat meat, right? I believe in, I believe in a very light diet. I don't think we need to eat as much as we want. Nice ideal. I had that as a download. So on some level, my soul knows that we're light beings, and actually we could exist on nothing because we'd be light. It's not nothing, right? We'd just be receiving chi and prana. And that I really firmly believe that this is possible, and at some point this will happen. And I'm reading a book actually by Dan Millman at the moment, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, and that's got a snippet in it. And but if I'm denying that there's a part of me that is desperate to eat meat once in a while, I will really come a cropper because it's not fully integrated. And I've had this because I've majoritively been vegetarian. Well, it's really, I started doing the work around my diet when I was in university, and I worked in an 8-day cafe up in Manchester. And then depending on who I lived with, I would just switch what I was doing. So I'd start eating meat again, and I live on my own, and I would mostly eat vegetarian, then be with a partner, start eating meat again. And that is how I've done it, right? So obviously there's a part of me that gets influenced by other people, but if it wasn't already in me, I wouldn't be able to. But I went through a phase of being quite in my ego around being vegetarian, and then I started craving meat. And for me, it was spirit going, don't be on your high horse, because it's a disgusting energy. You've probably seen it on Facebook, people talking about veganism, and then it's just like, yeah, but animals, plants have feeling, and it just gets ridiculous. Ultimately, we have to do what is the next arising thing for us. I was away for a weekend a few weeks ago, and we went to the wake of a very dear member of my family, and I just needed to eat a lot. I was in grief, and I had two roast dinners. We went to Toby Carvery. Okay, if you're in Britain, you'll know that. And it's not something I would normally do at all. And I wolfed it down. And it was like, okay, I made a prayer for that animal and gave thanks. And rather than judging myself, pretending it's not there, da 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 da. And it's the same with our emotions. Can we accept it? Can I accept that I feel angry? Oh, that's easier, isn't it? Can I accept that I'm sad about my dad? That's easier. If I'm pretending, it's still there, it's not going anywhere, and now I'm just suppressing it and I'm creating distortion. Okay, so loving what arises, think about Matt Kahn, you're actually stepping back into the loving observer, the conscious presence of your being, your soul, your being in the sky mind, and just letting the clouds pass through. Okay. And I use this analogy a lot with clients just to remind us both, not just them, me too, letting it move through, letting it move through, letting it move through. Okay. And if one day you want to eat, like I went through a phase of eating loads of apples and not much else, great. And then I stopped, and then I was like, I don't want to eat this anymore. I like don't do apples that much. I went through a phase of just having carrot sticks and cucumber sticks for lunch. It was great. And then I got to a point, it's like, so I need something else now. Now I have a smoothie for lunch. So, trusting your own wisdom, your higher self comes when you come to ease. So looking at this this coming to peace process, right? We've got your prayer, we're exploring. Are you in acceptance? Can you be in acceptance? Can you have compassion? Do you have compassion for the entirety of this theme? So say with diet, like if you think of that figure of 8 again, I at times have been in my superior belief system, and then I actually dropped into, oh, I'm being humble because now I'm craving me. And then I kind of swang to the side. And there's this yo-yo. So if you can just allow the ebb and flow of yourself, you'll be much better off at ebbing and flowing with other people's, letting other people live and let live. They're in their own, they're in their own school, they're in their own curriculum, right? If we take school, Earth to be a school, right? No more needing to judge anybody. Like I watch myself getting very annoyed at farmers because of the methods they use, and I just have to remember, stop. They are in their journey. Get over yourself. Like if you literally put yourself in their positions, would you do any better or know any better? Probably not. So get over yourself. It's very easy to look on somebody else's life and think, da, 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 I've been there. Outer critic, it's not nice. Okay. So the more you turn inwards and you look at your own stuff, you start healing, and then you have a much bigger compassion quota, right, for other people, and you're just like, okay, sorry everybody, yeah, carry on, okay. And then it's a lot more fun to be in the world, right? And again, this is why the teaching that I'm doing in the world, in the coming to peace, this is a lot about what I've needed, because I've had a very kind of spiritual ego, honestly, and it sucks. It really sucks. It was my protection. All right. I'm really sensitive. I'm very highly intuitive, had a lot of visions, a young age, and that was tough to live with. And the more I would get stuff coming to me, I was like, oh, fuck you, I'm better than you. No, they're giving me my karma. I've been a shitbag too. I might have this spiritual side as as a child, but that doesn't mean I haven't done yucky stuff in the world, right? It doesn't mean that I haven't mistreated animals, that I haven't mistreated people, that I haven't been a slave owner. It's a big life that I've had to do work around, so living with peace is the ultimate aim. And it doesn't mean that mistakes aren't going to happen. It just means that we're in a better place to be at peace in ourselves, to process it and pray about it, explore it, accept, have compassion, and then you'll come to ease. Yeah, and it's not, again, it's not about being perfect here. Like I have struggled to do a lot of things in my life and go, I'm not perfect. Look me now, I'm like, oh, the shadow's not right or my hair's not perfect. So what? Like I can do my best. That's all I need to do. And if you don't like it, you can move on and find that other person. I'm okay with me. And that is the work of coming to peace with ourselves. Okay. So, is there anything else I need to know? Not at this time. So, I'm asking, like, is there anything else I need to say? And the answer is no, not at this time. So, if you're interested in this work, if something is really resonating, you can go to the free PDFs, the free resources in my website, okay, openlotusliving.com/resources. And there's a whole page of coming to peace PDFs, okay. And I'm going to be adding to that as and when I have the time to add another theme to it. And what I would invite is if there's something that's really itching at you and you need a session, reach out because it doesn't matter what theme it is. We will sit with it. We'll do the process that I do with all my clients. And I pretty much guarantee you're going to feel better when you leave because that's what happens. You know, problems shared is a problem halved, but being in the place of presence, I work with spirits. I always call in a very high energy, space to work in, and just being in a place of self-acceptance and me being in a place of acceptance, it's a lot easier to look at those yucky feelings that we've been pretending aren't there, and actually they're just sitting there tripping us up and sitting in our field like that splinter, giving that uncomfortable feeling. Okay, so you're very welcome to do that, and there are different forms on my website under the working with me heading there. So it's been amazing to talk with you about this. I've wanted to do this chat for a while because I really just wanted to help you if you're interested in the Coming to Peace series. And then this is a little bit of an introduction. And I just keep an eye out because I will be doing free seminars. So if you're not already connected to me on Facebook, follow me or give me a friend request and I'll confirm you there. Tell me, I love it. If somebody friends requests with me, I usually say yes, because like let's face it, we're all brothers and sisters. But I'd really love you to tell me why. Like tell me that you watch this. Okay. And then you'll see the events that I post on Facebook as and when they come live. All right. So much love to you. Wishing you all the peace, blessings, and love in the world. I know it's a contentious time. And if you can come to peace, be in your body. And actually, I'm just going to do this now. This popped in. Let's just do a really quick body scan. And this is such a good process. It doesn't mean you're forcing your body to do anything. It means you're giving your conscious present awareness to that part of your body and you're putting your love there. All right. You're checking out what's happening, you're accepting it, and you're just loving it as it is. Okay. And this is a really good practice you can do morning, noon, and night. Check in, if you're waiting in a queue and you're thinking, oh, this is so boring, just draw within and do this body scan and it will really help you. Because I used to do this and I realized I called it re-chiing. It came to me, this is re-chiing, this is amazing. And then I did a Vipassana 10-day workshop and I was like, wow, this is Vipassana. Okay, it's the same thing. Okay, so, and it's also what people call Yoga Nidra, but it's a different format. So if you want to do this, come into your body, put your hands on your heart, just be with your breath, notice what's happening, softening in your body as you come into your body. Okay, having a breath in if you feel to, and a releasing breath out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And through this, you can just breathe easy. Okay, you can have another breath in if you feel to, or not just be with your easy breath. And another breath out, releasing out and down. Beautiful. And one more breath in, calling soul here now, I'm present. And another breath out. Beautiful. Now, even just doing 3 conscious breaths will assist you in feeling more centered and at ease. It will calm your nervous system down, and then you start looking at things without being in the stress, fight, and flight response. You'll be in the rest and recuperation or rest and recovery. Okay, and it's a lot easier to deal with most of life. Okay, so 3 breaths. Really helpful. But right now, we're going to stop at the top of the head. And what I'm going to invite you to do is just be with your conscious presence and awareness at about an inch or 2 slice at a time. So we're going to be here and we're just putting our awareness there. Okay. You can say, I love you, I accept you. And now move down the slice, put in your conscious awareness there. I love you and accept you. Beautiful. And now, like a lower slice, being there, present with love. I love you and accept you. And you go down. I love you and accept you. Now you can do this really slowly. I'm going through this fairly rapidly because we don't want to be on this call for 3 hours. But if you do the Vipassana meditation, they will say you can do quite a few rounds and out. Once you get used to it, you can move quite briefly. But being mindful to be present there, put your presence there, spread your focus out, okay, in this slice. And notice you're not forcing anything, you're not forcing breath, you're just being with, okay? So your conscious presence, you're being the beautiful presence of your I am presence right now. Okay, we're going to move down a slice. Be there. I love you. I accept you. Now move down. Let's just do the arms. Let's do the top of the arms, the biceps, triceps. I love you. I accept you. And that higher, that can't think, is that ulnar? What is that bone? Whatever bone that is. I can't think now. Okay, then we're going to come to elbow. I love and accept you. Then we're moving down to the forearms. I love and accept you. Radius and ulnar. I know those ones. Can't remember the other one. So funny. Okay, now we're moving down to the 8 bones and muscles in your wrists. I love you and I accept you. Just notice what the sensation is. And when you get used to doing this, you will start feeling a sensation of warmth and relaxation. And it is delicious. It's like a warm bath for your body. Okay, now we're going to hands, front or palms of hands. I love you and accept you. Moving through hands to the back. I love and accept you. Beautiful. Now the whole arms. I love you and accept you. Beautiful. Moving back up to upper chest here. This slice. Say here. I love you and accept you. Beautiful. Move down a slice. I love you and accept you. Yeah, I have to say that I love you and accept you. Okay, the pure version of this is literally just being with your presence, but I am saying this because that's a nice reminder. Okay, and it's a different meditation, but you don't actually have to. Okay, so just being with the next slice down. This might be around what we call the solar plexus chakra, just below the sternum, in a beautiful slice. I love you. I accept you. Moving down one more slice. I love you and accept you. Moving down another slice with presence and awareness. Noticing what's happening. Now the next slice down. Noticing and accepting. Being present with that. Beautiful. Now the next slice down. Beautiful. Now the next slice down. This is like top of the pelvic bowl. So just being aware of all the muscles and the organs and the bones. I love you and accept you. Being with your presence there. Next slice down. This might contain bladder, womb, colon, intestines, pelvic girdle. Love you and accept you. Next slice down. This might be your perineum, sex organs, hips. Okay, love you and accept you. Beautiful. Now we're going to do thighs, front, middle, and back. Love you and accept you. Now knees, balls of light in your knees. Love you and accept you. Beautiful. Now your front of legs, shins. Love you and accept you. Back. Back of calves, love you and accept you. Now ankles, being present, love you and accept you. Now feet, all the feet, love you and accept you. Now you've got there, let's move as we bring our conscious awareness to feet. ankles, lower legs, knees, and thighs. So the whole of the lower limbs, loving and accepting them all. Moving up now into the torso. Let's join up the whole torso, loving and accepting with our conscious awareness and presence. Now into the arms, bringing our presence into our arms, loving and accepting. Up into the neck, loving, accepting, face and brain and head, loving and accepting. So now just be with the whole of your body, your presence in the whole of your body. And you've just completed one body scan. Beautiful. You can do your own iteration of this. You can say your own words. You can reassure yourself or say whatever it is you like to say, or you can just be in the presence as you move through. You can do this as many times as you like, and this is a beautiful practice for reaching your body, bringing your conscious awareness and connecting to yourself, because a lot of us, we've got a lot of external commitments, and we do need to remember to love ourselves. And to me, that is the quickest and easiest. Yes, you can have your bath and read your nice book and watch the film you want. That is an external way of giving ourselves a nice experience, but it's not that deep energetic self-love. So I hope you enjoyed that. Love to hear from you if you enjoyed the show. If you want to be on the show, do reach out. I'll put a link below and you can find the page on my website, and there's a link there where you can make an application. And you can talk about your business, your journey of ascension and awakening, and anything else you feel like you want to add. It's been amazing to be with you today. So much love to you and so many blessings. And I will see you again here on Ascension TV Online.